So a lot of you guys probably know I have a heart condition called congenital heart defect, and I have a form of it called hypoplastic right heart syndrome. So what this means is I am missing the right side of my heart, and actually, in fact, I am not missing the right side of my heart, but it is just really small and it doesn't function. It's basically dead. So we say I'm missing the right side of my heart, or I only have half a heart because only half of my heart is functioning. So some of you probably don't know this, and I feel bad because I haven't brought it up a lot on my channel as of late, but I would really like to bring it up more and talk about it a lot more because it is a big part of my life, both negative and positive ways. And so I asked you guys to ask me questions about congenital heart defect and living with it, and so that's what I'm going to be talking about today in this video, discussing the questions that you guys gave me. So if you guys gave me non-CHD questions, I'm going to save that for a separate Q&A video. Today on this video I'm just going to be focusing on CHD and kind of giving you guys a little more light into that part of my life, and hopefully give you guys some more insight on maybe who I am and what I have to deal with on my day-to-day. Okay, so I'm not going to go in any particular order, just pulling these out as I see them. Now, this is kind of hard to answer because I've known nothing different. I've never known the feeling of having a whole heart. So to me, it feels normal, and yet it feels very tiring. Day-to-day tasks can make me very tired. Even walking can make me tired. I can't mow the lawn. I don't have enough energy to do that. I've never learned how to ride a bike because of it. So it does affect me in a lot of different ways, and so how it feels is I guess I could describe it as it's more tiring to do day-to-day stuff than you would really think. So actually, congenital heart defect, the congenital part of that phrase means present at birth. And so that pretty much gives you your answer. I have had half a heart, CHD, since I was born. They luckily were able to find that I had this condition before I was born, so they were able to prepare my parents and prepare themselves and everything else. So I've had it since I was born. It was not a result of a surgery. I've had surgeries because of it. This one's a little hard. I feel like this question can be very broad. Something that really came to my mind though is a lot of people think that it can just be fixed, that it can just heal, that we can just fix everything with a heart transplant, and unfortunately that is not the case. Heart transplant can help, for sure, but it is not the cure to all. So I think that's one of the biggest misconceptions, is that it can just be cured, it can just be fixed more or less, but in reality, no matter what you do, there's always going to be flaws and difficulties, I guess. No matter what surgery or operation or what you tried to do to help it, you can only help it, you can't fix it, basically. So I could go on a long list of things I can't do. A lot of physical activities, like I said, I never learned how to ride a bike. I can learn how to ride a bike, but it's just a lot harder for me. I don't know how to swim. I hate to go underwater, and that's a result of my CHD. I can't play sports. I can't really run. I can't do just a lot of physical activity are the biggest things. Another thing that actually a lot of people don't think about is I can't go on like roller coasters. I can't go on crazy rides at amusement parks. So unfortunately, like Disneyland and amusement parks and whatever are not appealing to me at all, because I can't ride like 3/4 of the rides there. So they're boring to me, not gonna lie. Something else is I also have never been able to go on like scary haunted houses and stuff, you know, go through like haunted corn mazes and whatever, because I can't like be jump scared that bad, because it can make my heart stop if I like jump way too hard or something. So yeah, I've never been able to do those. Any scary things. I don't watch a lot of horror movies. I can watch horror movies, but like I just don't even mess with it, you know. A lot of patients with CHD actually will get a heart transplant eventually if it's the right route to go. Not every CHD patient will, but I can get a heart transplant. That is actually the next step in my life, is to get a heart transplant. That's something we are aware of and looking at in the future. It's not necessarily something really near in the future, but it is kind of the next big step in my life to help my heart, is to get a heart transplant, because unfortunately my heart is getting tired. It is starting to run down its lifetime. I wasn't even supposed to be born alive, first of all. Wasn't supposed to make it to an adult, you know, and I'm 23 now. And so my heart really has pushed harder than it was supposed to, and so it is starting to get really tired. But we're not at the stage of like we need to do something about it now. We just have to be aware of it and watch it. So once it is time to kind of give my heart the rest that it needs, kind of put it out more or less, I don't know how to phrase that, but when my heart does run out, the next step is to do a heart transplant. So we're looking at that, you know, maybe in the next 10 years or so, who knows? You know, nobody really knows. It's just kind of when it needs to happen, it'll happen and we'll take care of it. So again, this is actually one of the major things, at least for me, that I can't do. I try to exercise, but honestly, I get tired so fast. I just like I can't do it. We were doing a jump rope exercise, my mom and I, the other night, and like after doing maybe 50 jump ropes, I want to say, like my heart rate was at like 160 and my mom's was only at like 100, 120-ish, you know, but like mine just spiked and I started to feel sick, but I kept going. I did it for a good like 20 or so minutes. But it is good to exercise because it helps make my heart stronger, you know, kind of pushing it. It's just knowing my limits. But unfortunately, like in school, I could never like join a sports team. I could never really partake in a lot of physical activities, a lot of friend activities I had to alternate or not take part in. But luckily I had great friends who really worked around my heart condition and helped make sure I felt included no matter what we did or what we planned. So yeah, it affects it a lot. So yes, obviously it has an effect on my energy levels, my exercise levels, my you know, all that. The thing is I am not perfectly healthy. I don't think anyone really is. I try to stay healthy as much as I can. My mom helps make sure that like I, you know, eat my greens, eat my vegetables and fruit and all that, you know. She really helps me try to stay healthy, make sure I do get some exercise in, make sure I go outside, get some vitamin D, you know, get some fresh air every day. But the truth is I'm not perfectly healthy. Again, but I don't think anybody is. So I've had a lot of, I'll say I've been very blessed. I haven't had a whole lot of people say straight to my face, you know, some rude stuff about it. I mean, I have had people side comment and make little marks and whatever. I remember in high school, my senior year, I was in I want to say it was a psychology class. No, it was a health class. It was a health class. I had the same teacher I had for health, I had for psychology, but it was the health class. And we were watching some video where we were like watching a surgery or something, and I could not watch. I could not watch because of everything I've gone through. Like, it just makes me sick to think about it, to hear those beeping, to hear the murmur, to hear the just all that just gives me so much anxiety. It makes me sick. It makes me sick to my stomach. And oh my gosh, I got so sick. I got so like pale, and I just was like laying my head down, and my teacher was like, do you need to like go and whatever? And some kid kind of made a little remark of like, really, that made you sick and whatever. And I didn't say anything back, but you know, in my head I was like, well, you know, if you've been through that in your real life, it's almost like PTSD, you know, to me. And it sparked something in me and just makes me start to like hyperventilate and whatever, you know. So that's kind of one example. People have kind of been rude, you know, not really thinking. In high school, I had to ride a wheelchair around because I was in heart failure in high school, so I had to ride a wheelchair around to get from class to class because I didn't have energy to walk from class to class. I was so low energy, and I didn't necessarily have rude comments, I'd say. Then I more so had comments of like, oh, lucky you get to ride a wheelchair, blah, 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 blah. You know, and which, you know, you'd think you would, ha ha ha, that's funny. But to me, it was more annoying because I wanted to be as independent as they were at the time. You know, I wanted to be able to walk from class to class. I wanted to not have to have someone always at my side at school, making sure I got to class and was okay and didn't all of a sudden pass out and whatever. And when kids made me feel like that was like a plus, you know, it kind of made me feel even more different and even more not normal, and that really bugged me because I wanted to be as normal as I could, but it was hard when I had to ride a wheelchair just to get between classes. So that's kind of another example. I've had comments online, obviously. I don't know. I've had a lot of different instances. I've had so many people comment on my nails or my lips because I'll get blue or purple in the nails and lips because of my oxygen levels. And, you know, I'll get all the comments of like, oh, did you have a sucker? Did you have a lollipop? Did you have a popsicle or something? You know, it's always like, like they're getting old, you know, those remarks are getting old. One of the ones that would bug me the most, because my heart is on this side of my body, not over here. It's over on this side. It's on the opposite side. A lot of people would ask, oh, so do you do the Pledge of Allegiance like this or like this? And I'm like this, like you, like everyone else. You know, that was one that really got so old and I was so over it. So again, I wouldn't say I had a lot of negative, mean stuff said to me throughout the years. Maybe I've just like blacked them out, you know, forgot about them. I probably have, honestly. I'm sure my parents have gotten a lot of comments too that I haven't heard or pay attention to. But I think the biggest thing for me is just the remarks people would say, you know, just the things people would say, not really thinking that like I want to be as normal as you are, you know, but I can't. Like, that's physically impossible for me. So it takes a toll. It does. And honestly, I write in my journal a lot. If you guys don't know, I love to write. That's like my second love after filmmaking, recording, video editing, and all that. I love to write. And so I write in my journal and just let it out there. But yeah, that was a long answer for you. So CHD is the same thing as having half a heart, more or less, at least my condition. And I mean, I don't know how it is. It's all I know. I know no different. And so really I feel tired a lot, like physically tired, not like mentally tired, but physically tired. I feel almost, I wouldn't say in pain a lot, but just kind of have this like Sometimes I have to rub my chest and whatever. Something else that a lot of people don't think is because I've been cut open a lot. I have all my scars. And so, you know, sometimes like people will like touch places where I've been cut open and whatever. And I hate that. I protect my chest so much because I don't like anybody touching it, because it's actually still numb in a lot of places. Fun fact for you, it is still numb in some places on my chest where they've had to cut open, and it just feels weird, and I just want to protect my chest. So that's another thing of how it kind of feels. Like I always just want to protect my chest, nobody touch it. So again, it really depends on how I'm doing. My last surgery was 5 years ago. I haven't had a surgery done for 5 years now. I have a lot of minor operations, one being a catheter, which is where they take a telescope and they put it in your leg, and then they can send it up and look better. It's a better viewing than like x-rays and whatever. And so that's a very minor surgery operation that I get done a lot, but I honestly haven't had one of those done in 5 years either. But so again, I don't really have a lot of surgeries done right now because I am doing quite well, which is great. But I don't have a lot of surgeries right now, and that's just because I'm doing okay. But that's not to mean that I won't ever have surgeries again. I'm going to have operations and surgeries to help maintain my condition, my health, my heart for the rest of my life, to help me live as long as I can. But as of now, I've not had a surgery for 5 years, going on almost 6 years next year. So that's the next surgery might be a heart transplant. It might be a catheter. It'll probably be a catheter and then heart transplant. But who knows, maybe we might do something different before, but that's kind of where we're at. That's one of the biggest mysteries of life for me. There has been no known cause of it. It's not passed down through genetics or anything. Not one person in your family can have it and then you give it to someone else. It could affect it very, very, very slightly. There's like a very slim chance. And so like if I ever have kids, I gotta make sure to check and make sure my kids don't have a heart condition, because there is a chance, but it's not very likely. That's one of the biggest mysteries of life, especially for me, is that CHD has no known cause, and currently has no known cure. And so that's why I'd really like to maybe start some sort of foundation to help raise money for research, because there's so much research that goes into cancer, kids cancer, which is awesome. It needs it, definitely 100% needs it. But I really wish there was more information and more people knew about CHD and how it affects 1 in 100 babies born. And so again, I would love to start some form of foundation one day to help raise money to go to research for CHD, and maybe we can find, you know, the cause of it. Maybe we can find better treatments for it. Who knows? I mean, I don't know. That's something I'd love to do in the future, but there is no known cause or cure yet. It makes me feel different every day. Again, I get tired doing the most basic of things. You know, like I told you, I mean, even coming up and down the stairs sometimes can make me tired. I have to take a nap almost every day because I just feel so tired and I need like a midday boost to get me through the rest of the day. So it makes me feel different a lot. It makes me feel different, especially when I go out with friends and do stuff and they want to go do stuff that I can't partake in, or if I get invited to stuff I can't partake in, I have to tell them no, that I can't. And you know, so I do feel different, very, very different. And that's not to say it's a bad thing, you know. I have tried to embrace being different as much as I can. And for sure, again, I can't work as much as normal people could. If I overwork myself, I get sick. Even though I do like technically have like 3 jobs right now, They're very well spaced out, so I get to rest and whatever. But like during the holiday seasons and past years when I've worked a ton, I've always gotten sick every year from overworking myself. I need a nap almost every day to give me a midday boost. There's just a lot of things that people don't see in my day-to-day life that CHD really does affect. It makes me tired a lot more than you would think. I get tired a lot more than you would think. When I go on walks even, I have to kind of just do what I can. Like I have to take breaks sometimes when I walk, if that makes sense, to kind of re-boost more or less, get a boost again to continue on. So it affects my day-to-day life in so many different ways. So when I get sick, I don't usually go to the hospital. Luckily, when I have gotten sick, it's been pretty manageable. Obviously, if I ever did need to go to the hospital, then I would. But I've never really remembered a time getting sick and having to go to the hospital. And the problem is when I do get sick, like even if it's just the common cold or whatever, it hits me harder than a normal person. And so it'll last longer. It'll have lingering effects on me for a good month or so. And like a fever, I always will get a fever and it lasts so much longer than a normal person. I've never gotten sick and it sent me to the hospital, but when I do get sick, it hits me harder than normal people. And that's why with, everything going on right now, trying to be really careful because, it could hit me a lot harder than some other people, if that makes sense. And does it affect when I run? Well, it makes it so I can't run, so all the way. So funny thing, I actually did gym through like middle school up until high school. So I did have gym class, I did take gym, but luckily all of the coaches or whatever, the teachers for gym would kind of find alternatives for me to partake in. So I do the physical activity that I could. I partake in like the games that I could. But then like the really physical taxing stuff, I would do alternatives, or honestly I just watch, not take part. When they would run the mile, I wouldn't do that. I'd actually time the kids. I got to be the timer when we ran the mile. So I found a lot of alternatives for that class. I didn't do a lot of the physical activity that they would. I tried to do as much as I could. The problem was too, I never wanted to say no, and so sometimes I would push myself too far and I'd get really sick, just pushing myself too far, because again, I didn't want to say no because I didn't want to be different. I wanted to be normal and wanted to be like I could partake in all of this, and it affected me so much more when I tried to just do it. So funny thing, again, I did gym up until high school. Then in high school, I went into heart failure. So I got told by my cardiologist, my doctor, that I shouldn't be partaking in gym, that I need to have a alternative class or whatever to get credit and whatever. So I got a doctor's note to basically get the gym credit and skip it. So I took gym for like maybe 2 or 3 weeks. And then I just left. I didn't tell the gym teacher that like, hey, I can't take this class anymore. I'm leaving your class. Peace out. I also never emptied my locker of anything. So pretty much that gym teacher thinks I died because I just didn't show up. Unless someone else notified him. But as far as I know, I think he thinks I died. So I am sorry. So that's the big question, is it? isn't it? How long do I live for? So again, I wasn't supposed to be born alive. Neither was I supposed to make it to adulthood, yet here I am at 23. But again, anything can happen. But that's the big thing, is a lot of CHD patients get projected not to live very long, live into adulthood. Luckily, that is getting more and more normal for CHD patients because of more research going on and more findings and better remedies, better procedures, better ways to take care of us. And so we are able to live longer. It's more of a reality now than it had been in the past. But dogs. But that's the biggest thing. It's scary to think, but literally I could wake up any morning and my heart just decide it gives up, it can't continue it anymore. And so that's another big reason why I'm actually still living at home, is because I can't just go out and live with someone random, live with random roommates. I have to have someone that will kind of pay attention to me. And you know, if I wasn't getting up in the morning, like by noon or 1 or something, like they would like text me or come in and check on me, you know, because that's what my mom does. You know, if I don't get up for a while, she'll text me like, hey, you okay? Because unfortunately that is the scary reality that I live, is that I could not wake up. Every night I go to bed, I'm pretty much almost saying goodbye in a way, but I try to live as if that's not the case. Obviously, I try to live as normal as I can, but it is something I've had to just accept, is that any day could be my last. And I know that's true for everyone. It really is. It's true for everyone. Any day could be anyone's last day. But for me, that's a lot more prominent with my heart condition, especially because I was projected not to be born alive. So yeah, am I able to get a heart transplant? Yes, and again, that's probably the next big step I'm going to take in my life, is have a heart transplant. The thing is, again, a heart transplant is not a cure for everything. Unfortunately, I'll still have to be on so many medications. I will still have to have operations because the heart could reject my body, or my body could reject the heart. So we have to constantly monitor that and make sure it doesn't. So guys, that looks like all the questions that I got. I really appreciate you guys asking me those questions. Again, any of the non-CHD related questions, I will do another non-CHD related Q&A. Hopefully you all got some more insight on what it's like living with CHD, what it's like for me living with CHD, and living with hypoplastic right heart syndrome. That's the type of CHD I have. It really does affect me a lot more than I probably really show in my videos. It's obviously a big part of my life. I have to take medications every day. I think I'm on like 7 or 8 different medications to help my heart. And then I have like a topical cream that I have to use on my face because actually my acne can affect my heart, so I have to take care of that. There's so many different things that I have to watch and take care of with my heart condition. I have to watch my oxygen level. So many different things. So hopefully this gave you guys some more answers and kind of give you more insight on what it is like with CHD. There's a lot of us out there, even though a lot of people don't know about CHD and know that we exist. There's actually quite a bit of us out there from all over the world. I'm in contact with a bunch of different patients with CHD, all very, very lovely people. You guys know who you are. So I appreciate you all watching this video. If you guys have any more questions about CHD, you can leave them in the comments down below and I will try to reply back to you guys and answer any remaining questions you guys might have. But yeah, so I appreciate all of you guys tuning into this video. I'll catch you in the next one. Goodbye.